Floodwater took over some major roads in the Asante region following early morning rains on Thursday. Now, for almost 2 hours, commuters were stuck at home, bus stops and in traffic, as some streets and suburbs were flooded. Affected areas include the Kwamo Ejisu stretch of the Kumasi-Accra road, and Ohiming Teria joins us now via Zoom to give us what the situation is at the moment. Ohiming, it's been a few hours into the day now. Is it still raining, and are there still people stuck?
Not really, Ekojo. The situation has improved, and now there's no more rain or downpour in the Kumasi city. But I must say that yes, traffic is picking up. Commuters and motorists have some reprieve to go back to their normal duties. So the roads that were inundated with flood waters, obviously the waters have subsided, and now the motorists have access to the roads. So there's no interruption as we speak. But I must say, in some areas, for instance, at the South Junction stretch of the main Kumasi-Obuasi road, the sort of potholes created by the flood is very visible, and motorists are forced to spend some time thinking about whether to use these potholes or probably meander their way around the pothole. So that is the situation as we speak now. But I must say, yes, the situation has improved. Motorists now have access to these roads. The roads that were affected are the main Kumasi-Accra road, especially at the Ejisu-Kwamo stretch. And then on the Kumasi-Obuasi road, the Bekwa roundabout to Santase roundabout road, and then the main Kumasi-Tamale roads were all affected by the flood today.
Right. Now, this is not going to be the last of the rains. What is the plan that the authorities have put in place to ensure that citizens who are stranded today will not be stranded tomorrow?
Honestly, this question, I'm not too sure I'll be able to provide, adequate response to. For instance, in most of these areas, it's not been happening overnight. It's been an annual ritual that anytime it rains heavily, these areas experience the floods waters. So, for instance, at the South Junction, motorists and commuters, and even those who live around, tells me it's been an annual ritual. Anytime it rains, because they complain of the size of the storm drain, the authorities have constructed pavements under the storm drain. And they say because it's too small to accommodate the heavy flow of water, that is actually accounting for the flood. So they expect authorities to provide everlasting solutions. But unfortunately, what they have done over the years is, for instance, about a month ago, when the area experienced a heavy downpour and there was flood in the area, it removed the asphalted overlay from the road. So what the authorities did was to bring in some chippings or gravels just to cover the areas that have been taken away by the flood. So this hasn't solved the problem. For residents, they've been complaining that the better way to solve this issue is probably to construct a new bridge over this storm drain so that it will be able to accommodate the heavy wave of water that passes under it. So until this is done, they are not too sure this situation can improve. And for instance, on the main Kumasi-Ejisu road, there are concerns over what used to be waterlogged areas that have been filled, and people have now encroached and put up structures, buildings, and what have you in these waterlogged areas. And these are some of the reasons that people cite for the floods that we are experiencing in this area. And so I'm not too sure, and they themselves, the residents who complain, are not too sure when this can be eradicated, when the impediments put in the way of the water is still are still there and continue to pose a danger to the people.
Right. Now, we understand that the Ashanti region was undergoing a rather intensive vaccination drive. How have these rains and flooding affected that?
Yes, the vaccination exercise, the ongoing AstraZeneca vaccination exercise, has had its share of the heavy downpour today. Many of the vaccination centers, which hitherto start, the exercise around 8 a.m., were affected, and they were pushed to start as late as 11 a.m. And in some instances, got people who managed to go to these centers early on time to queue for them to be vaccinated, complaining that this shouldn't have happened. But in most of the centers that I visited, you could see that though people had come to be vaccinated, the vaccination officials, the health officials, they themselves were not available because they had to contend with whether the tablets that have been provided, where they used to queue people's details and all that will work. So it took them time before they were able to be convinced that the tablets and the apps were ready for the whole exercise to begin. So when I spoke to the regional health authorities, the deputy regional health director in charge of public health, Dr. Robson Michael Ejay, did indicate that the exercise has suffered a major setback, in the entire Ashanti region, for which reason the health authorities are planning to extend the vaccination exercise beyond the 5 days, stipulated 5 days or the mandated 5 days that has been given to them to finish the exercise. So what it means is that if the exercise, for instance, what we witnessed today, is anything to go by, then we are likely to see the exercise being extended beyond the weekend. So residents in Kumasi and Ashanti region, I must say, will still have the opportunity to be vaccinated. So this comes with a window of hope for those who want to be vaccinated, probably queue up in these places, but will not be served on time.
Did Dr. Roxanne Ejay give any indication about what protocol is in place in case there is more rain? Can we expect the vaccination to stop each time there's heavy rain? Or will they find a workaround so that the vaccination can continue, rain or not?
He did say that these are acts of God, and these are, circumstances that are beyond the control of the health directory. There's nothing that they can do. Anytime it rains and probably the systems go down, what do you do? The best you can do is to wait and then allow some time as far as the issues are concerned. So for the health directorate, in as much as they continue to experience this sort of challenge, the indication is that the exercise is likely to prolong. They will give some more time for people to have that opportunity to be vaccinated. And nonetheless, they believe that probably it's not likely that it will rain almost every day. So once it's disrupted today, tomorrow the exercise is bound to continue freely and smoothly. So they expect that residents will continue to visit these vaccination centers and get themselves vaccinated.
Right. If you just joined us, we're talking to Ohiming Teria, our correspondent in the Ashanti region. He's giving us an insight into the effect of the rains on life in the region, particularly the vaccination drive. Now, earlier, Ohiming Teria spoke with an assemblyman for one of the affected areas. Let's find out what he learned.
When there is a heavy downpour, this situation causes a whole lot of problem for the people of South Central and even those using vehicular transport or using their own vehicles to pass through this channel. There is a link road connecting South Central and North Central. Because of the architectural design, they have closed that U-turn, causing a very big problem. Most of the times when this U-turn was there, all the drivers, when there is a heavy downpour, they pass through Palmer Road, go straight to that point, do the U-turn and go to where they are going. But because they closed that channel, it has been a problem for the residents and those using the cars, and it's very worrisome.
terms of the floods, I know this area gets flooded anytime it rains. How common it is, and what has been the impact? How does it affect movement of people, movement of vehicles, and then the offices around here?
Oh, really? If there is a heavy downpour early in the morning, to be specific, movement is slowed. No one can pass through this channel to where he or she is going. Seriously, you will see a heavy traffic here. Both sides, vehicles cannot even pass because the last time it rained heavily, when you get into it, maybe like it will be on your shoulder or wherever, and it's there was a time one lady, a certain lady, I think that the water wanted to take her away. Yeah, and we helped. Through those who are doing this washing bay here, they helped, they swam and brought the old lady out, and it's very bad. And we are pleading to the government to come to our aid and sort things out here.
Right, so that was a South Central official speaking to Ohiming Teria.